G'day everybody, welcome to the garden this week. Let's get growing. So this week, I haven't done an awful lot, I have done a little bit. So the sunflowers had come out last week. I've been to Mount Gambier in the meantime, so I bought some broad bean seedlings, which I've planted there. And I've also planted the balance of the row with seeds, which I soaked overnight in rainwater. I was just having a bit of a feel of some of the bigger pods here on the corn that they actually feel quite promising, feel some little lugs in there, so I might get something off them. The lettuces, still picking. Something like in the mountains, I've got a few lupins. They're just a flowering lupin, but they are a legume, so they will fix nitrogen to a degree. Lupins historically use nearly as much as they fix, so they're a bit neutral rather than positive. This little patch, I've planted the radishes since last week and they're up, which is good because all of the radishes from the other bed are gone. They were very nice, thank you very much. So I've planted a lupin, or a couple of lupins in each bed, so one here and one up here. Where the radishes were here, so this little stretch here has now got some silver beet in it. This little stretch up here, I only emptied that out yesterday, so that's got nothing in it yet. These are some onions that have come up through from the other garden. The parsnips are ticking along all right, although that doesn't look like a parsnip. That could even be a pelargonium or a geranium or something silly like that. God knows, but I might let that grow and see what it is. The carrots are ticking along, onions are okay. Turnips are banging away, bit of insect damage there. I'll have a look, I reckon it could be cabbage moth. There's a little bit of damage on the collies and that next door as well. On the parsnips here, I did put some extra seeds in the gaps where there was nothing come up, just to see what happens. The collie or the brassica bed, I bought a couple of big collies, which are this one here and this one here, when I was at the big green shed in Mount Gambier. Having a look at the garlic, now this plant over here was a clove, and this plant here was a clove. 1, 2, 3, 4, I might be lying, that one might have been a seedling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seedlings, and the cloves have almost overtaken them, so there's got to be a bit of a story there. There's some cloves that I may have planted a bit deeper, so one just here and one here, but doesn't seem to be any huge advantage in planting a garlic seedling as such, so I don't think I'll spend money on them again. Brad there. So this little beast here is what's causing all of the damage. So this is a cabbage moth, and they have little grubs and they will decimate. So I'll be coming out here to spray these with some dipel. So this damage here, if we have a look on the other side, there we go. That's not a cabbage moth grub, that one, but it is a grub, so the dipel will still get that. Cabbage moth have a little green grub that is almost the same colour as the leaf, and they're voracious feeders, and once they get going they will absolutely decimate the leaves. So I'll dispose of that little bugger. Won't lay any more eggs. It was a lucky find actually. So I haven't done any more. This spot here where the new bed is going, all I've done there now is the box that was full of straw is now gone and is over here. I've been a bit busy this week out here. So this little paddock next door has been slashed, topped. So I run through with a slasher at about 6 inches height just to take all the tall grass off. And I'll do a part 2 a bit later today to go onto this video to see why. So that fence was down. That fence over the far side was down at the other end with a broken box assembly, and the fence across the end was almost non-existent. So what I've been doing the last 3 days is fixing and building fences for this little paddock here, and I'll do another section to this video a bit later on to show why. So there's the Guinea and the 4 remaining Keats. Going along quite strongly. The little fawn or beige one at the back may be a pink eye, which may mean it has limited vision, which would make sense. It often seems to be lagging behind the others. So it may not survive. But these are just free ranging. Okay, we have part 2 of this week's update. So I'm in my little paddock next door to the veggie garden. So the veggie gardens are over there. I've had to do some repairs this week. Well, I had cattle here a while ago and they decimated my fences. They're not built for cattle and were never intended, and I shouldn't have got cattle, but you know, you have a moment's weakness. So I had to fix that fence over there. I had to fix this fence down here, and that box assembly down the end, the cattle broke, so I had to redo that. And then this fence along the bottom here, they totally destroyed as well, so I had to redo that. So I've done that bottom fence with some old weld mesh I had. This fence I've replaced posts, rebuilt the box assembly, and this fence I've replaced posts, and I've strained all the fences up. These sheep are Dorper crosses, and if anybody knows Dorpers, they love to push out. And I had one hole I thought I'd fixed. I had a couple of holes and I thought I'd fix them right down the bottom end of my property, which is down, you may be able to see the tree lines about 100 metres away. Anyway, they found another hole and have spent the last couple of months out in the neighbours. I've been unable to get them in. So now they're going to be in this small, probably an acre and a half, but there's plenty of good tucker here. It's coming away green. I've knocked the top off so they can get to all of it. And the 2 lambs, so the black lamb's a wether now and the white lamb is a ewe. So I'll finish up with 5 ewes and a ram, which as an ongoing proposal is meat for the freezer. So yeah, that's part 2. Thank you for coming along and having a look at my garden this week. And I hope you enjoyed the update, and I will see you next time.